I'm Glen McGinnis, and this is Outburst. On this show, what have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic?
I learned that it's possible to not leave the house for weeks at a time, and I'm okay with that.
Have learned lots of ways that I can help people in this city who aren't as fortunate as me.
I don't like social distancing.
That I'm okay spending a lot of time by myself, which is nice.
I learned how to make banana bread.
But first, on almost a daily basis, we've received updates from the Prime Minister as well as provincial premiers and municipal officials from every province and territory, giving us the information we need to stay safe. Be it providing financial support to those who need it the most, closing borders and businesses for health reasons, or even offering sound advice. How would you rate the work our federal, provincial, and municipal governments have done? Our question.
Do you approve of the job all levels of government have done during the pandemic?
Yes, I think they're doing a fine job. Yeah, I'm impressed with the amount of cases in New Brunswick compared to the rest of the country and the States, of course.
I think a lot of it's been doing all right as best they can. I mean, you know, it's different times that anybody's ever gone through, right? So I think Canada's in a pretty decent position. New Brunswick's in a really good spot right now. I'm really thankful that I'm here. So yeah, kudos to those guys who actually, and to New Brunswickers who've actually done a good job here. So
yeah, I'd say so for sure. Yeah, they were on it right away, and I mean the strictness and whatnot, and not just that, but everyone working together, which is even cooler, you know what I mean?
I think a lot of levels of government here have done a really good job. I find in Moncton we've been pretty well situated, and New Brunswick as well. I feel relatively safe here, all in all. So I can't really say anything too bad about that when comparing to other provinces. I'm pretty happy with how the pandemic has been handled here.
I find we need more help instead of just 2,000 whenever really. Like there's more help that's needed than just a couple grand every couple weeks or months.
I believe in this situation where we haven't seen this in our lifetimes. It's a new thing for all governments to handle. Some responses have been better than others, but I think everybody's genuinely trying to do their best.
Well, I do, especially the federal government and the New Brunswick government. Premier Blaine Higgs is doing a real good job, I think, concerning the virus. And Prime Minister Trudeau, I believe, is doing a real good job too. People that lost their jobs because of the virus, he's supplying them with like $2,000 a month, the CERB package. So you can't go wrong there either. So he's doing a wonderful job, yeah.
I just hope that we can afford all the handouts. That's what I'm worried about. But I'm 86, so I may not be around when they come back for a refund.
Yes, I do. They've been working hard. They gave us a chance with that CERB payment. It helped me a lot because I didn't have any much money, and I only had one payment, but still, it helped me a lot. I didn't want any other because it would have cost me more next year.
In the government of the New Brunswick, have a good reaction, fast in the beginning of the pandemic, and because of that, maybe the condition of the New Brunswick is better than of the other province?
Generally, yes, but I think we have too many levels of government. So why is the city of Calgary getting involved in health decisions? I believe that should be left up to the province. But then why do we all have different provincial regulations? I think probably it'd be better with just one federal rule for a lot of things.
I am not pleased with the provincial government. I'm not pleased with anything that the UCP is doing right now. I am very happy with the response of our particular civic government. The City of Calgary, I think, is doing a good job.
Yes, I think that all levels of government had a reasonable response to the pandemic. I think things could have been a little bit quicker at the beginning, but everything overall, we're doing okay.
Absolutely, yes. I think the statistics are showing that they are doing a good job compared to other jurisdictions, so yes, absolutely.
I think it's easy to criticize our government, but at the end of the day, overall, I think they've done a great job. Can we do better? Probably, but this is also our first kick at the can, so to speak, and I think they're doing a good job.
You know, even March, from my understanding, we were still allowing a lot of people in, which made
no sense, and I think that's got a lot to do with why it's taking this long, to get us out of it. Even though after the fact, I think municipal governments, provincial governments have done their best to that point. But in my opinion, the border should have been closed a lot quicker, and there was signs to do that.
Honestly, there's too much infighting. We need to level it out somehow, that people talk to people rather than the levels we're seeing. I don't agree with any of them on certain points, and I agree with some of them on others.
I think that for certain people and certain classes of people that they've done a good job. I am homeless, so I know maybe I don't look homeless right now, but for those of us who do not have money and houses, I mean, where were we supposed to go to get away from the dangers of getting COVID? There was nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go. The shelters, once it's hit them, it's like playing Russian roulette. I think that they needed to help the people who needed help before helping the people who didn't need help and could help themselves.
When this pandemic hit in March, many of us were taken by surprise on how quickly life would change, not only here in Canada, but around the world. We sent our cameras out to ask Canadians how this has impacted them. Our question:
how has the pandemic affected your life?
In general, it's been, personally for me, not super effective in my life, or it hasn't affected my life in a super negative way personally, thankfully, so far, at least.
I'm semi-retired, so I was doing a part-time job. Other than the addition of things like masks and pair of gloves, I was able to continue doing what I was doing.
Well, it's really affected me because my husband and I just moved from Vancouver to Toronto, and we moved in on the Wednesday and they shut the city down the following Tuesday. So I retired and he moved out here for his job, and we were going to come out here for a couple years and enjoy what Toronto had to offer, and we haven't been able to take advantage of that. So it has really affected it. Between retiring and moving to a strange city and then not being able to do anything's been a little tough.
Well, I'm not volunteering as I used to. I have to, be, quarantined or careful when you go out. So that's another thing. I like to be active, and I enjoy it. But, health and well-being comes first.
Well, I don't take the TTC anymore, and I'm a huge proponent of the TTC, but I'm just very nervous of getting on it. Fortunately, we live right in this general area, so I can walk, just everything's within reach between pharmacies, grocery stores, the LCBO, anything really.
It has affected many ways. First of all, because now I'm working from home, and that wasn't my reality before. It was very hard in the first weeks, and now that I got a little bit used to the new normal, and I think that also the weather is helping a little bit because we can go a little bit outside and do a little bit more things outdoors. But overall, yeah, it had a great impact on our lives, that's for sure.
I'd say the major way it's affected us is instead of going to a store and picking something out and bringing it home, you order it online and you sit there all day waiting for the courier who doesn't come, and they say they came and they didn't come. That's really annoying.
Yeah, we came here for a year for my husband's work, and this wasn't what we expected with the pandemic, so it's definitely been an adjustment in any way, but trying to navigate our life here around it, and not being near family or having that support network.
Well, we're both actors, and so we haven't really been doing anything. A lot of home time, a lot of writing time, stuff like that.
Yeah, lots of self-reflection and trying to figure out my life and what all this means, and
yeah,
a lot of existential dread.
Well, I mean, I think it's something that obviously it's unprecedented. We've never experienced this before. I think we just try to really take it one day at a time, try not to worry about what the future holds, and really just try to engage it as best we can. We're all in this at the same time and all in it together, and we'll get through it.
Well, we both work for retail, grocery retail, so we feel it. We're on the front lines, so we've kind of been born witness to the best and worst of people.
That's for sure.
We're kind of much more conscious, I think, about how we go through the day.
Well, the kids are at home, so it's been a homeschooling. I'm a physician, so my work's kind of the same for the most part.
Have you noticed changes?
Oh yeah, much slower, lots less people come into the hospital, and we're not seeing patients in the clinic either, so lots of phone calls.
We are very social people and have a lot of friends and clubs and things, and we're able to meet virtually, but it's not the same.
I miss my daughter very much. It has affected me terribly. I miss my daughter very much, and I hope that I get to see her in the next few months, because that's just the father and me, and she misses me very much too, because of the travel restrictions between Canada and the States. I miss her, she misses me terribly.
Well, I lose my job, but right now I get another one, so I just started. So right now I'm going here to the bank to get my banking direct deposit form. So it's good. It's still good. Anyway, it's getting back to the normal.
Yeah, it's affected very much to my life. I lost my job, and everywhere I used to drive by Uber, and all the work is slowed down, so it's totally affect on my life.
As far as humanity goes, I think it's a big correction. I think people are having to take a really hard look at what's important to them and what they fit into their life, and maybe what's time to go or not, and how they respond to other people and their own individual as a whole.
Well, it's been pretty isolating. For the most part, it's been okay, but you want things to be back to normal, but you know that things won't be back. You won't have that same comfort feeling once it's done.
I've been fairly lucky. I've said that this is about the best time in my life that it could have happened to me. I'm a university student, and I've been able to work from home during the summer, so I'm really grateful for how little it's affected me, but I've been able to see the effects of it through my friends with kids and through, younger people in my life, so I've been really lucky.
I mean, it has affected it in a few ways. Especially not being able to meet with family, friends. I think that's probably one of the biggest impact on my life. Work-wise, not so much. I work in tech, so yeah, I've been quite comfortable working from home.
It has definitely affected many parts of my life and my ability to go out and socialize, I guess, face to face, which I miss greatly, but I'm managing just fine.
Well, usually I always go out with my friends on weekends and stuff, and of course school got cut short, so that was a big hit because I love to do sports and stuff, so I wasn't able to do that or leave the house at all. So yeah, that was hard, just not being able to go out with friends and stuff.
Which Canadian province is nicknamed the Princess Province? Saskatchewan, Alberta, or New Brunswick?
New Brunswick.
I was gonna say Saskatchewan.
New Brunswick, let's go with? Sure.
Saskatchewan?
My money's Alberta.
I want to say New Brunswick.
Saskatchewan.
I'm gonna say New Brunswick.
Saskatchewan.
Alberta.
The answer, Alberta.
Yes.
The province of Alberta was named after Princess Louise Caroline Alberta, who was thought to be the prettiest of Queen Victoria's 5 daughters. Princess Louise was also known to have a rebellious streak and a keen interest in the arts. She received training in sculpting before she married and continued to produce art for most of her life. Princess Louise married John Campbell, Marquess of Lorne, who would be appointed Governor General of Canada in 1878. The couple would go on to establish the Royal Canadian Academy of Arts. After she returned to Britain in 1879, she kept up with the affairs of her adopted country, and during the Northwest Rebellion, she sent money and supplies to help the wounded on both sides of the conflict. The province of Alberta was named after her in 1905.
If you ask around, many people may tell you that the last several months of the pandemic has been an educational experience, to say the least. When all of a sudden people are forced to change how they communicate, where they go, or what they do, one is bound to gain at least a little bit of knowledge brought on by change. And that's exactly what we took to the streets to ask you about. Have you gained any wisdom from this? Our question.
What have you learned from the COVID-19 pandemic?
I've learned that don't think that far ahead, live now, don't worry about tomorrow or the day after. So today is the most important thing is now. Life is now, not 6 years from now. All that planning ahead stuff, don't plan too far because you don't know.
The most thing that I've learned is to just not depend so much on social media, like actually just getting out there and being outside and reconnecting with family again, which has been a really big thing for us.
I think that the issues here are bigger and we need a better plan developed just in general. So I guess it's caused me to realize how poorly we are designed and how poorly we react to health crisis.
I don't like social distancing. I love people, I love being around people, but not seeing anybody, it's tough.
We don't really know that much about it, and we're learning more every day. We're learning that serology tests aren't really that accurate. We're learning that that a vaccine is not going to be immediate. So we continue to learn. But currently, I'm learning that a little virus, like an invisible enemy, can halt an entire economy, and that we really have to be ready for the next, not just for the next wave, but for other viruses that might show up later.
I learned that it's possible to not leave the house for weeks at a time, and I'm okay with that. I don't like winter, and I basically hibernate through the winter anyway, and so that was okay. I already worked from home, but only just a couple of days a week. Of course, now I work from home every day, and I learned that I'm okay with that. And I'm okay with just him for company. It's our anniversary today, by the way. That's 27 years today. So yeah, I think I'll keep him around for a while.
I've learned the value of things, probably is the biggest thing, the value of family and friendship and support, and what's important to you, and how you have to change your perspective. It's not so much about material things and being able to go places, it's about being close and feeling safe.
I learned is people can actually stay at home for 2 months without doing anything outside. So I'm very surprised and very impressed by how resilient our people are. So that's very, very impressed. And also I just learned how to deal with a global pandemic. It's a mental, emotional, financial, everything, physical too, challenge. So it was a great experience to tell my grandkids maybe one day. Yeah.
I learned how to make banana bread.
That I do have a voice of reason and belief system and structure that can't be taken away from me, and I'm able to operate that independently of what's going on in the rest of the world. And it makes me really happy to know that my beliefs and ideals and desires and the things that I value, I'm able to still live out in a time where all that has essentially been taken away from us, and we've had to readjust the way that we thought we're able to operate in this free first world country of ours.
What I've learned is what's important is family and friends, and how much I miss them when I can't go hug them and tell them how much, I can tell them how much they mean to me, but you can't do it physically. And if there's any one thing that I've learned, it's to never forget that.
I would just say I've noticed how much of a place of privilege I come from, especially with the protest, the fact that I've been in a safe enough position to attend them, and that I also have been able to be financially secure and working from home. I have just been so grateful for the position that I have, and have learned lots of ways that I can help people in this city who aren't as fortunate as me.
Well, there's two things I learned. First is that you figure out just how smart and resourceful people can be, with coming together and helping each other to get through the pandemic. But also, like many things, this kind of reveals an ugly side to people. There are those who refuse to accept it's real, which obviously it is real. Look around you. So yeah, I think like most things, it reveals like an ugly side to people, but also the good side of people.
That we can be affected by a global threat anytime. It's just many things are unpredictable, and we should be ready for those emergencies.
I think that we've all learned that not to take the little things for granted, like seeing your friends on the weekends, and really been learning patience. That's key.
There are a lot of people out there helping us every day that we don't appreciate as much as we should. So yeah, I learned lots.
Probably not to take anything for granted, probably, right? We were kind of living, just moving on, and it has made you pause and think, oh, are we prepared? Or what if this happens again? Or something else. So I think we probably weren't cautious enough and caution isn't probably the right word, but I don't think we ever thought it could happen to us, right? We're invincible, and I think this is some decisions ourselves and other people that we know are going to make, or it's always going to have this in the back of your mind now. Whereas before it was just like, okay, we've got the time, let's go. And
I don't know, I think that I've learned that I'm okay spending a lot of time by myself, which is nice. Not that I was necessarily didn't think I would be okay, but it's nice to have that confirmed, I guess. So yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. I guess that, yeah.
Really, it's a lot about the simple things in life, family time, how we're all in it together.
Well, not to panic, very important. Know what is happening. Be informed. That's the main thing. You have to be informed.
Because of FaceTime and emails and the phone and other social media in general, I certainly feel in touch with my friends, but it's not the same as being able to get together. In fact, I'm on my way to meet a friend for a socially distanced coffee in the park. So if you don't mind, I'll say goodbye.
This may be the last segment in our show, but it's certainly not the least important. Essential workers, those who are healthcare professionals, grocery store employees, pet stores, auto mechanic shops, the list goes on, have all been recognized for their bravery in keeping things moving during COVID-19. So now we give Canadians the chance to offer their appreciation to those who've been on the front line since day one. Our question:
what would you like to say to all essential workers?
I would say good on you and keep on doing a good job, because the people need help, and people who are willing to help is always a good thing.
I would say thank you very much. My cousin is also an essential worker, and I know how hard it is for them. Thank you very much.
I would like to say thank you very much for being there for us and supporting everybody throughout this trying time. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of people appreciate it, and it's never acknowledged enough. So thank you.
I also noticed that it seems to be disproportionately recent immigrants or foreign workers that are sacrificing themselves, and I think we as a nation have to be looking at that class separation that's going on.
Good job. I am an essential worker. Good job to everyone else.
Thank you, everybody, for putting in the hard hours and hard work and not seeing your friends and family to keep us all safe. We appreciate it.
Thank you to the people who pick up the garbage in the hospitals, all the support workers, all the people working in long-term homes now and helping those people who have been ignored for so long. The doctors, the nurses, everybody. Amazing.
Oh my gosh. I don't think there are enough words to show the gratitude and how important they've been through all of this. Like, it's just been I don't think you even realize until you're in a situation so critical as this what an impact it can have.
Just that we're thankful, first of all, for all that they've done during the pandemic and still now. And
yeah, like we're thankful for all the nurses and
paramedics, everything, even the construction workers that's been keeping their hard work all through the pandemic and everything too.
I don't think enough can be said about them. They're standing up and facing quite a difficult time. I think we all have big questions on our minds, but they're right at the front and they can see what's happening, and it is dangerous. So you have to take your hat off to them. They're great people.
Well, totally doing great. I mean, if it wasn't, if it wasn't for people like that, it's definitely appreciated for sure. Hard working and, it's keeps things running, right? And, if we work all together, then things will be a lot better for sure.
We should treat them with extra gratuities. I think we should make sure they're safe. I know I've seen a lot of places, not necessarily here, where essential workers don't have the tools they need. So I think we should be supplying them with things like plexiglass. I know that can be really expensive, especially for small businesses. So I definitely think that essential workers need more access to things because they are very important right now.
Thank you very much for doing what you guys do.
Essential workers, if you can go back to work, please go back to work. It's essential for our economy. And thank you very much for your service and what you're doing. Without you, our society wouldn't function.
All I can tell them is hang in there. Is about all I can tell them, right? Hang in there. Things will get better. This virus, they will find a vaccine for the virus, and things will get better in time. We just got to be patient and hang in there.
Without them, where would we be? From truck drivers to people at the grocery stores. And it's a shame it took something of this magnitude to understand the importance of them. Because really, on a daily basis, those are the workers that struggle in our society. But they ended up being our heroes and pulled it all out for us and stuck through it. They deserve much, really. They should have higher wages, plain and simple, right?
Thanks for watching this episode of Outburst on the Cable Public Affairs channel. I'm Glen McGinnis. If you have any comments or questions about this show or any other show, you can find us on social media. You can also find us on our website at www.cpac.ca. It's your turn to speak up, and we're listening.